Halloween, a night of costumes, candy, and laughter. A night when the veil between our world and the next is said to be at its thinnest. But sometimes the horrors aren't make-believe. Sometimes the things that go bump in the night are all too real. Tonight, we're not telling tales of fiction. These are the true stories that prove the most terrifying monsters are the ones that are real. Story 1. The Hand in the Pumpkin. Our first story comes from a small town in Ohio. A young woman, let's call her Sarah, was home alone on Halloween night. Her roommates were all out at parties. To get into the spirit, she had carved a particularly gruesome jack-o'-lantern earlier that day, placing it proudly on her front stoop. Around midnight, she was getting ready for bed when she heard a faint scraping sound from the front of the house. She dismissed it as the wind, but then she heard it again, a slow, deliberate scratch, 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 peeking through her blinds. She saw her pumpkin, its candle still flickering, nothing else. Relieved, she was about to turn away when she saw a hand, pale and thin, slowly reached up from behind the pumpkin. Its long, bony fingers gently stroked the side of the gourd, tracing the grooves of the carving. Terrified and frozen, Sarah watched the hand retreated. She called the police. When they arrived, they found nothing. No footprints in the dew-soaked grass, no evidence anyone had been there at all. Just her jack-o'-lantern, grinning into the darkness. The officer, about to leave, shined his flashlight on the pumpkin one more time, and that's when they saw it. Carved into the other side of the pumpkin, the side facing the house, was a new, crude message that hadn't been there before. It read, "I can see you, too." Story 2. The Party Guest. Story number 2 takes place at a university Halloween party. It was packed, a sea of masks and costumes. A group of friends was having a great time, but one of them, Mark, started to feel uneasy. He couldn't shake the feeling that he was being watched. He noticed a man standing alone in the corner, wearing a remarkably realistic old man mask. It was wrinkled, with glassy, lifelike eyes. Something about it was deeply off-putting. The man never moved, never spoke, just stared from across the room. Mark pointed him out to his friends, but they just laughed it off. "It's Halloween, dude. Relax." As the night wore on, Mark saw the man in every room, always standing still, always staring directly at him. Deciding he'd had enough, Mark told his friends he was heading home. As he pushed through the crowd to the door, he felt a tap on his shoulder. He turned around. It was the man in the old man mask. He was standing inches from Mark's face. The man didn't say a word. He just leaned in, as if to tell a secret. And then, in a voice that was dry and raspy, like leaves scraping on pavement, he whispered, "You have a very kind face. It will look good on my wall." Mark shoved the man away and sprinted out of the house, not stopping until he was safe in his apartment with the door locked. The next day, he asked everyone at the party about the man in the old man mask. No one knew who he was. No one had seen him. And when they checked the security camera at the front door, he was never seen entering or leaving. Story 3. The Trick-or-Treater. Our final story is perhaps the most chilling because it involves the most innocent of Halloween traditions. A father was handing out candy on his well-lit porch. The rush had died down, and it was getting late. He was about to turn his light off when he saw one last trick-or-treater standing at the end of his walkway. It was a small child, wearing a cheap store-bought ghost costume, just a white sheet with 2 eye holes. The child wasn't moving. It just stood there, silently. The father called out, "Hey there, come get some candy." The small figure didn't move, it just stared. Feeling a strange sense of dread, the father took a step forward. "Your parents with you, kid." No response. The street was completely silent. He took another step, and that's when he realized the costume was all wrong. The sheet was dirty, tattered at the bottom, dragging on the ground. It looked ancient, and the eye holes, they were completely black, no glint of a child's eyes inside. Just 2 pits of empty blackness. Suddenly, the figure raised a single arm, impossibly slowly, and pointed a finger directly at the man. It wasn't the playful point of a child. It was an accusatory, ancient gesture. Then, a voice emanated from it. It wasn't a child's voice. It was a chorus of whispers, layered and dry, that said only one thing: "We've come for our treat." The man stumbled backward into his house, slammed the door, and locked it, his heart pounding. He peered through the peephole. The street was empty. The thing was gone. He never saw it again, but to this day he refuses to hand out candy on Halloween because he knows that not everything that comes to your door is a child. Whether you believe these stories or not, they serve as a dark reminder. On a night dedicated to shadows and scary stories, it pays to be careful, to lock your doors, and to remember, some masks aren't worn to hide a person. They're worn to hide something else entirely.